What's up, Moors? Y'all awake? Is it too late? What's up? Yeah. So I'm gonna go live. I'm gonna let. Hang on a second. See if some people come on. But yeah, we're gonna get a little question and answer session up and running. Right. It's late unless you're on the West Coast. So yeah, we put up a video like the just yesterday. What's up, Lightbearer? So we put up a video just the other day, just asking and answering a few questions, right? So what's up? What's up? All right, we up, we live. So we gonna do this. Good. I'm glad some people up. Okay, so yeah, just you in the 505. Where's that? I know what 504 is. That's Louisiana. So just the other day we put up a video just answering and asking questions, right? Okay, New Mexico. What part? I've been to Alamogordo, Las Cruces, a couple other places. Alamogordo's beautiful. You just see nothing but mountains. Yeah, I've been to Albuquerque too. It's beautiful. Everywhere you look, just you can see like for miles. It's amazing. So right, we did the video just answering, asking questions, and people sent in questions. So I'm gonna answer some of those questions that people sent in. So feel free in the live chat to go on and ask any questions you have. And if we don't get to it now, we'll get to it. Okay? And maybe even bring in some experts too. Okay? So that's how we doing it. And I'm going to get started now. We got some people, live. And okay, so all right. Okay. First question I'm gonna get to is how to be a Moorish American, because somebody asked that on the last video, and basically, okay, all right, how to be a Moorish American is an interesting question. I'm gonna guess that the person saying that was like us. Like most people asking this question are the so-called Black African American people, so you're already a Moor, and then also by extension. People from the Caribbean, Jamaica, Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, Cuba, Haiti. I'm not trying to leave anything else out. All these different places in the Caribbean, and even all the way to Trinidad and Barbados, Belize, some Mexicans, many Mexicans, Guatemala, Ecuador, Brazil. All these places, right? And now I've been to some of these places and lived in some of these places too, as a traveler. So I know, that there's Moors here. And also the Prophet Noble Drew Ali mentioned many of these, the countries, the nations that I mentioned, saying that these people are also Moors. So most of the people asking this question are, of one of these, descents or whatever you want to say, these groups. And so like, first off, you already are Moorish American. I'm guessing that you wanted to know how to okay, our non-Black people Moors. I'll get to that in a second. So I'm guessing you want to know how to declare your nationality, actually declare to nationalize. Okay, and so like to answer that, the best move would be, and this is a good one. Like listen to this, because there's so much information online. There's so many different different viewpoints and people saying do this, do that, do X, Y, Z. The best thing to do is to go to a Moorish Science Temple of America. Okay, a lot of people want to overstep that because of all the things that have happened over time, and just everybody has different ideologies and things like that. But Prophet Noble Drew Ali actually came over 100 years ago and set up this institute for nationalizing our people and for teaching nationality, getting us back into that fold, right? Okay, that's a good question. Does one need to follow Islam to practice their nationality? So back to the original question, how to be a Moorish American. Okay, you already are a Moorish American. Chances are if you're asking that, of course, this is for the whole world. Chances are, okay, if you are, the thing that you want to do is to nationalize, find a temple near you. One good thing you could do, just an example, you could go to mstofa.net. That's like Moorish Science Temple of America. So mstofa.net. And you could just go in there and go to the locator, see if there's a temple near you. And even if there isn't, just contact them. Because like there's several ways you could be helped. You know, even if there's a temple that's not in your city or state, there may be a temple, you know, close by that handles all neighboring states. And so you can go in there and nationalize, become a bona fide actual member of the official Moorish Science Temple of America. And, you know, or even if there may not be one in your city, you know, but there might be a study group that's, you know, actually sanctioned, you know, by the Moorish Science Temple of America. So there may be an official study group or mission there, you know, divine ministers there by you, you know, that can help you out. So contact them. That's mstofa.net. Okay? And so that's just one example. So if you want to know how to be a Moorish American, that's one thing. You obviously, people are waking up. All types of people are becoming open to this information that wouldn't have been in the past. You know, people are questioning everything. They're like questioning Christianity. Why are we doing something that, you know, that our fellow Christians were like hanging us from trees and, you know, murdering us, and still cool with a lot of, you know, racist practices, and they're not looking at us as, you know, Christians like them. You know, so a lot of people are questioning that, and they're looking outside the box. So, and people are looking into history and realizing for different reasons that you may be Moorish or that you are. So, I want to say that you are, you know, because of where I'm coming from. And if you want to know how to be one, go to the Moorish Science Temple of America. That's the best thing. I'm going to go ahead and move on. If anybody wants me to go in depth on that, like in another video, we could do that. Someone did ask real quick, though, do we have to practice Islam to be Moorish American? Okay, if you read like the questionnaire, the official, you know, lessons that are coming from the Moorish Science Temple of America, they say we practice Islamism. Okay, Islam, when you really get down to the root of the word, means peace, and it's actually ancient, and it's an ancient way of living and school of thought that's like older than even the religion that our ancestors actually created. Our ancestors created Christianity, created Islam at one point in time, created Judaism at one point in time. And we did this to help civilize people in different areas of the world. So, you know, when you get into the ancient, you know, like we're taught that Noble, in the questionnaire that we have for 101 questions, that Islamism is that old time religion. So this is an ancient spiritual way of living, not to down religion, but it goes, you know, even beyond dogma of things, just doing things, you know, out of practice. So we're getting into the ancient, you know, form of it, where like in the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple, you're actually taught that God is within you, Allah is within you, that you're actually connected to the Most High. Okay, so and we're also, one of the first things that you'll notice, you know, if you read something like this, which I suggest everyone do, because like if you're even watching this or heard about Moors, you know, you gotta respect the Prophet, because he's the reason everyone knows about this. So check it out, read it. First thing that you notice is that you're to give respect and honors to all the different religious schools of thought. You know, Confucius, Krishna, all of that stuff. Okay, so do we practice Islamism? Yes. Okay, Islam is practiced in the East, you know? Sure, you know, yes. Were there Moors who were Hebrews at one point in time? Yes, there are still people. There are people in Spain and Portugal, you know, like they expelled everyone who was still practicing Islam or Judaism, okay? And these were people of Moorish descent, all right? And some of them wound up in South America, you know, and other parts of the Americas, the Moranos, okay? So definitely you had Moors who were Hebrews, okay? And they were practicing, you know, and they were of Moorish descent. So, you know, when you get down to it, you're really supposed to be looking at things from a broader point of view. You know, as far as religion, you're supposed to respect all the religions, and we practice Islamism, okay? So we respect all of that. And you know, you can, if you feel like you're Hebrew or of Hebrew descent, you can still do that and still be a Moor. To answer that question real quick. So someone also asked, okay, what do you tell people if they ask where you're from and like what's your race or what's your religion? And actually, that's good because somebody had just asked that to us earlier today. We're out at the store and a lady, Indian descent, a Hindu lady, saw us with the fez on, my wife with the turban, and she just asked like where we're from. Okay, and so to answer that, right, could keep things really simple. You're the descendant of ancient Moroccans who inhabit North America or wherever you inhabit in the Americas. Okay? And there's so many ways that this is true. Okay? Even with using the Quran, you know, to understand this, when this is explained in chapter 47 of the Holy Quran, where it's saying Egypt, the capital empire of the Dominion of Africa. Okay? It says in here that the Moabites from the land of Moab who received permission from the pharaohs of Egypt to settle and inhabit northwest Africa were the founders and are the true possessors of the present Moroccan Empire, with their Canaanite, Hittite, and Amorite brethren who sojourned from the land of Canaan seeking new homes. Their dominion and inhabitation extended from northeast and southwest Africa, across the great Atlantis, and even unto the present North, South, and Central America, and also Mexico and the Atlantis Islands, before the great earthquake which caused the great Atlantic Ocean. So in this chapter, it also says that our ancestors actually received permission from the great Pharaoh of Egypt at the time to come over to this land. Okay, so the pharaohs of Egypt gave us permission to inhabit and settle northwest Africa, and the dominion also extended across the Atlantic Ocean to North, South, Central America. And it's saying that we've also been here since before the continent split up, before the great earthquake occurred, which caused the great Atlantic Ocean. And we were just talking about this earlier today. Like, some of these things may sound incredible, but there's actually like there's actually, you know, evidence, physical evidence, archaeological studies about this that are true, that aren't taught in the mainstream. Okay, in this book by Michael M. Hotep, PhD, the first Americans were Africans. In the introduction, he has a quote in here from Fingerprints of the Gods by Graham Hancock, where Graham Hancock was using ancient maps as evidence for the possibility of an ancient, like, super civilization, right? So he had access to these maps that are like hundreds and hundreds of years old. And he's saying that there had indeed been an ancient lost super civilization destroyed 12,000 years ago. Okay, so he's making a case for why there was actually a civilization, you know, that was advanced. Okay, that's, you know, over 12,000 years ago, which would make it older than what Egypt is given credit for. In his maps of the ancient sea kings, Charles Hapgood produces concrete evidence of an advanced worldwide civilization many thousands of years before Egypt. It looks as if these people have visited most of the earth. Okay? And so when they're writing these books, you know, they're basing it off of the archaeological evidence that they have access to. And they're saying it looks like this ancient super civilization had already visited, you know, most of the earth, or all of the earth, right? And there's evidence that these people have been everywhere and that they're, you know, ancient. Once upon a time in the golden age of Zep Tepi, there was a peaceful, ancient, African, antediluvian, worldwide, maritime, megalithic, mercantile super civilization. Okay? So this is what the pre-flood era is called, the golden age of Zep Tepi. All right, so these things are saying that there was a catastrophic flood all over the world. Okay, like, during the Ice Age, when this stuff is occurring a couple thousand years ago, and this is causing things to happen. You have people, who were alive at the time, or who actually wrote about these things. You had people like, Plato, who wrote of something that occurred maybe hundreds of years before his time, or possibly thousands of years before his time. And there were people who witnessed these things happening, right? So when you look at that, and you look at the fact that, like, there's another video on here where we actually show the pyramid that was found in Ecuador. It's got the 13 steps, and then the Eye of Horus at the top, right? And it glows under a black light. And then when you flip it on the bottom, it's like this tall. You flip it on the bottom, it's got this ancient language on it that they've actually found all over the world. Okay, so there's evidence of an ancient super civilization, and this is what these things are based off of. So when we're saying stuff like this, it's not just making this up. So you have people who are actually, trying to connect the dots, and when they get to a certain point, they hit the glass ceiling. Like, when you start connecting the dots, it gets to a point where if you're going to try to publish work and put things out about it, it can be scholarly, but it's still going to be on like the outskirts, of mainstream. You can't really get into that stuff, because at some point in time you're going to start noticing that, yeah, the Easter Island heads appear to have red hats, on the top of their heads. You got that pyramid that I was just talking about, found in Ecuador. The same pyramid that's on the dollar. The Shriners that wear our fez, our national headdress, in secret, in the lodges. So all of these things connect and point to us, point right back to us. All right. So that's why we're Moors. And this was ancient Morocco. All right. All of that, Africa and the Americas, was ancient Morocco. This is the North Gate. All right. This is northwest of Mexum. This is another thing that we're taught in the Holy Quran, that the ancient name for Africa was Mexum, and that all of this was part of the Dominion, even before the split, where the Atlantic Ocean, the great earthquake, caused the Atlantic Ocean. Okay, so this is why we're the descendants of ancient Moroccans. And also on top of that, you had trade occurring, so you had people coming back and forth across here, and you even had people who came here as POWs during the slave trade, because one of the things that occurred in Spain when Granada fell, the Crusades were in order, and so, like, you had a bunch of Spanish and Portuguese Jews and Muslims who were Moors, who had to leave, and some of them went into different areas of the Middle East and Africa, and everywhere they went, okay, they now became the targets of the Europeans who were coming up, okay. And the traders also, who were like of mixed descent, who were like mulattoes, who had sided with their brethren, their European brethren, against us, and that's how they helped turn the tide. So everywhere they went, they were targets, and there was constant fighting going on back and forth, and they were getting captured as POWs and sent into slavery. Some of them wound up coming over here too, becoming our ancestors, okay, through that way, through Europe. Some of them came directly over here. Some of them went, into different areas of Middle East and Africa, wound up over here too. And in addition to that, we have the ancient connection, okay, that all this is Mexum. This is ours. This is Al Marak, whatever you want to call it. All right, this is the North Gate. This was a part of the Dominion. Okay, so we are the descendants of ancient Moroccans who inhabit Americas. So, if anybody asks, yeah, I'm Moroccan. They might not understand what that means to me, and if you really want to get into it and explain it with people, because for the most part, you don't really have to explain who you are to people, and get that in depth. I mean, there's people in this country, the North America, from all over the place. I remember I had a teacher once who was like from some country. It was like Kazakhstan, It wasn't that, but it was something like that, and no one had ever heard of where it was from before. Somebody just asked one day, he explained it. No one ever heard of it. Okay? That's a good question. We'll get to that later. So no one had ever heard of it, and it's just like you have to respect it. It's like at this point in time with the internet, go look that stuff up. Go look it up. But we're Moors. We've been Moors. We lost our heritage, lost knowledge of who we are, and we're back now. And that's how come, that pyramid's on the dollar, and they're finding it over here, covering up the fact that, these giant heads all over the place. Some of them, there's even Olmec heads, the Olmecs, she people, whatever you want to say, all right, that they find like in Mexico and Belize. Some of them have tassels coming down, right? They appear to have some type of fez. The stories of the nobility, like in ancient Peru, they wore these red hats that were like made out of velvet. They had tassels, okay? And then of course they actually have, they have pictures and paintings of the Easter Island heads wearing the fez, and then all types of indigenous cultures here have some form of a fez, kufis, and turbans all over the place, right? So this is our culture. This is who we are. It's who we've been. We may have forgotten, but the knowledge is back now, okay? So a lot of things are going to have to start changing. The idea of who we are, what we are, all of that stuff is going to have to start changing. We're not going to be black, and then African American, and then whatever else they're planning on calling us, It's not going to work anymore. You got to think about that. They create these labels for you, and they change the labels up every, 20, 30 years. They can't let it stay too long because we'll start getting restless because the spirit, within us is rising up. That's another reason why they always change our labels, Negro, colored, black, African American, They got to keep changing the labels because nothing's going to stick because it's not who we are. So it's time, and like I said, sooner or later, everybody's going to have to start getting educated and getting up to speed, okay? Also, I guess this kind of answers the question, that the next question: why wear the fez? Why wear the turban? Why do we do these things, right? They have like ancient meanings, okay, hidden meanings. This is also what our ancestors did, and this is what ties us back in. This is just a part, like calling it a national headdress instead of just a hat. This ties us back into the ancients. We are the pyramid builders because you are what your forefathers and foremothers were. Okay, whatever they are, that's what you are. So they were building pyramids. They've been here. They built these ancient super civilizations, worldwide civilizations. They actually had a worldwide language. Can you imagine that? Everyone on the planet speaking the same language. Our ancestors did that, built pyramids all over, Europe, Japan, everywhere, all over the United States. We still have them, right? So they're all over the place, all over the planet. There's pyramids in jungles and underwater that haven't even been discovered yet. All right, and this is our ancestors. And guess what? Some of them wore the fez and the turban. And some of them even carved it into stone. All right? Carved it into stone, and it's a known fact that's hidden that we did this. So this is what ties you back into that. Just like proclaiming your nationality, knowing that you're Moorish American, teaching this to your children if you have children. This is what ties you back into the ancient of ancient. All right. And so just to that's kind of a simplified reason why. If you want to know any more about the fez or turban, we can go in on that too in another video. But that's another reason why we do this, why you do that, and why we do the practices that we have as Moorish Americans, because it ties us back into the ancient. All right. And it's time to let go, of the things that we created for other people. If we created Christianity for Europeans to help to civilize them, to help them, to have some spirituality and do these things, I'm not knocking it for that purpose. But I'm saying it's not for us, right? Why practice that when practicing Islamism? You know, Moorish science allows you to respect all of these different things. You know, a lot of people, you know, whatever religion they are, whatever different sect they are, they can't even respect all the others, right? Okay, so that's one of the things we got to do. What's up?
What's good, Black? I didn't even know you was doing that.
What's good? Brother just walked in. So, yeah, we the mound builders. We the pyramid builders. Uh-huh. And that's what ties us into that. All right? Just for a few minutes. Yeah, you good. So, that's pretty much it. If anybody has any, peace. If anybody else has any questions, maybe I could hit on them real quick. Sorry, I'm not seeing everything, but we're going to definitely go backwards. Anything in cover, anything you asked or typed out, we'll get to that. That's pretty much it, though. I was just going to answer those. So if you have friends or family, share this with them. You know, help get the word out. Because, like, I figure a lot of people have these questions. And then if they have any more to ask, just, you know, type it in there and we'll get to it. So, that's pretty much it for now. It's late here where I'm at. I'm on East Coast time, so about to go on and shut this down. But share that, get the word out. You know, most people don't know this stuff at all, so get the word out. Share with your friends and family. And yeah, it's late, so it's like 2 a.m. We're about to get on up out of here. Yeah, but we're gonna do this again. We're gonna run it back. We're gonna do another question and answer session. And yeah, we're gonna bring in some heavy hitters too. We're gonna get some experts up in here. You know, so yeah, be ready with your questions. Go on and send them through. If you want to email them to me, email them to bay@moorsinamerica.com. That's BEY, bay@moorsinamerica.com. Right? So yeah, if you want to do that, email them to that. And shoot, that's what's up. We also going to be doing the radio shows too, the podcasts. So check that out. And if you haven't subscribed already, subscribe. And that's really it. It's late. Gotta go to bed. Peace. Good night, sweetheart. Who's that? All right, y'all. Peace.